Have you ever wondered if the memories you hold most dear, like the stories your family tells every single Thanksgiving, the anecdotes that essentially form the bedrock of who you think you are actually just lies you all quietly agreed upon to survive?
Oh, absolutely.
Right. Welcome to Off the Record. We're doing a deep dive today into something that is going to fundamentally rewire how you look at the past.
It absolutely will. And let me just say right up front to you, the listener, the document we have secured for this deep dive is a masterpiece of cultural deconstruction. It is highly, highly confidential.
Highly confident.
Yes, it has been floating around the top agencies in Hollywood for, well, about the last month or so. We are talking about an 80-page pitch Bible for a prestige television series that is currently in active development. The working title is Stillwater.
Stillwater.
Yeah.
Now let me set the scene for you, because the premise alone is a psychological gut punch. This is not just some original drama. It is a mature, structurally complex, and deeply psychological reimagining of the classic post-war American family sitcom.
Specifically, it is the modern-day continuation of Leave It to Beaver.
Yes. But to be clear to you listening, this is not a spoof. This isn't a parody. The showrunner, whose name we unfortunately have to keep off the record, ironically, takes the archetypal Cleaver family, the very definition of 1950s televised moral clarity, and places the surviving characters directly into the unforgiving reality of the present day.
And the town of Stillwater, Ohio, which for decades served as the cultural pinnacle of suburban innocence, has been completely hollowed out. I mean, we are talking boarded-up downtowns, a severely strained municipal budget, opioid crises at the fringes, and total inescapable digital saturation.
It is the America we actually live in.
Exactly. Contrasted violently against the America we were sold by television networks in 1957.
And the central gripping question of this entire 80-page document is basically this: what happens when a family that was quite literally built and broadcast as the ultimate cultural model of moral perfection becomes just as confused, compromised, and fragmented as the rest of us? How do you survive when your entire identity is a televised myth? Okay, I have to jump in and push back right away, because when you hear, dark, prestige reimagining of a 50s sitcom, the immediate cynical reaction, which I definitely had initially, is that this is just the gritty Batman reboot treatment applied to an innocent family.
Oh, sure. The Riverdale effect.
Right. Are we just taking the Cleavers, slapping a bleak, desaturated blue filter over the lens, and making them miserable for the sake of cheap prestige TV tropes? Because if they're just edgy for the sake of being edgy, I'm honestly not interested. We see that constantly. Is there actual psychological realism operating here?
That is exactly the trap that so many of these IP reboots fall into, and it is precisely what makes Stillwater so brilliant, because it doesn't fall into it.
Really?
Truly.
Yeah.
The tragedy of these characters isn't externally applied by some sadistic writer's room. It is internally derived from the original text. The writers are asking a legitimate sociological question: what would the psychological cost actually be for real human beings who were forced to live up to that impossible two-dimensional ideal for their entire life?
Right. So the trauma isn't that bad things are suddenly happening to them out of nowhere. The trauma is the perfection itself.
Yes, and the trauma is the performance of the ideal over decades. If you read the tone notes on page 4 of the pitch, the showrunner explicitly states that the aesthetic and narrative ambition is a cross between the Americans and the leftovers.
Wow.
Yeah. We're dealing with characters who are living in a post-truth aftermath of their own lives. Moral ambiguity completely replaces moral lessons. The document treats their childhood innocence not as a foundational truth, but as a heavily curated narrative illusion.
A narrative illusion. Okay, that makes perfect sense. And you see that structural collapse immediately when we look at the first character profile, which is Wally Cleaver.
The golden boy.
The ultimate golden boy. I mean, Wally was the handsome, athletic, polite older brother.
Yeah.
The guy who always did the right thing, always protected Beaver, always respected his parents.
Always said yes, sir, and yes, ma'am.
Exactly. Okay. But in Stillwater, Wally is now in his late 50s, and his reality is incredibly bleak. He's a mid-level municipal contractor. His marriage has recently ended in a very public, deeply humiliating divorce, and his defining public trait in the town is that he's essentially a part-time nostalgia figure.
The pitch document describes him as a walking museum exhibit. He is frequently asked to cut ribbons at local supermarkets or give quotes to the local paper about the good old days, all while his actual life is completely falling apart behind the scenes.
His character arc for season 1 is mapped out as moving from, and I'm quoting directly from page 12 here, from controlled repression to emotional fragmentation, to reluctant honesty. Because the poor guy is holding on by his fingernails to this facade of stoic stability. He wears his khakis, he smiles, but he is completely rigid. He is profoundly emotionally unavailable.
And if we look at the psychological mechanisms at play here, the horror of Wally's situation is just so specific. The showrunner notes that Wally's deepest, most secret fear is that he never actually developed a self beyond the character of Wally Cleaver.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
It's heavy.
Think about the developmental psychology of that, right? If your entire formative experience, your entire childhood, was strictly defined by being rewarded only when you conform to a perfectly sanitized, two-dimensional archetype of the good son.
You would never develop the necessary emotional muscles to handle the messiness of real adult failure.
Exactly. You wouldn't know how to grieve. You wouldn't know how to process betrayal.
Because the script never gave him those lines.
That is perfectly put. So when his wife leaves him, he doesn't just lose a spouse. He loses the structural integrity of his entire identity. He doesn't know how to be a divorced, failing man because Wally Cleaver doesn't fail.
God, I'm sorry. I have to be honest with you and with you listening. Reading that exact paragraph in the document earlier today, it really hit me. It hit me incredibly hard.
Yeah.
Because, and I probably shouldn't even bring this up on the deep dive, but I've just been spinning about this all week. That feeling of playing a role, of being exactly what someone expects you to be, of doing everything right, and then one day they don't want the performance anymore.
Oh. Are you talking about what happened on Thursday?
Yeah, I am. I mean, looking at Wally's public divorce and his stalled career, I relate to it intensely right now. Because I went out on Thursday with, well, you know who.
Yeah.
We don't need to name names.
Right. The architect.
The architect, yes. And I thought we were really building something. We've been seeing each other for months. I thought I was doing everything by the book.
Oh.
I was being the supportive, stable, communicative, quote-unquote, good partner.
You really were.
I cooked the dinners. I listened to the complaints about the firm. I compromised on everything. I was basically playing the golden boy role in this relationship. And then, completely out of nowhere, overpriced tapas, just this brutal, cold rejection.
Over tapas, it's just so callous.
We're on different paths, they said. Just like that.
I am so incredibly sorry. I know how much you were looking forward to where that was going. You even bought those tickets for December. It's just humiliating, you know? You put yourself out there, you perform the absolute best version of yourself, the version you think they require to be happy, and they just look at you, look at all that effort and go, no thanks, not interested.
It's awful.
And then I sit down to prep for this deep dive, and I'm reading about Wally Cleaver. This guy who did everything right, who smiled for the cameras, who swallowed his own needs to play his part for the family, and he still ends up in his late 50s alone in a hollowed-out Rust Belt town. It makes you wonder what the point of being the good one even is. Why do we even try to be perfect if it doesn't protect us from getting hurt?
Yeah.
Oh.
Look at me for a second. That person on Thursday, the architect, they are an absolute objective idiot. I am completely serious.
You really think so? Or are you just saying that because we're recording?
I am saying it because it is an empirical fact. You are so smart, you are incredibly attractive, you are deeply insightful, and you have this amazing, vibrant energy that lights up whatever room you are in.
No, I mean it. Anyone who would look at everything you bring to the table, your loyalty, your humor, your intellect, and decide to walk away, they are profoundly broken. They do not deserve you.
That is really sweet of you to say. Thank you. I really needed to hear that today. I've been so deeply in my own head about it, analyzing every text message, trying to figure out where I went off script.
Well, get out of your head. The script is the problem, not you. You're amazing. Honestly, you are an amazing person.
You're pretty amazing too, you know that. I don't know what I would do without you co-hosting this life with me.
I mean, I try. But seriously, do not let some emotionally stunted architect make you feel like Wally Cleaver. You are not stalled out. You are thriving. Your life is huge and complicated and beautiful.
Right. You're right. I am thriving. Okay. Thank you. Wow. Okay. Sorry for the emotional detour there to you listening. Just things get a little real off the record sometimes. We promise to analyze the media, but sometimes the media analyzes us, right?
Yeah. It's good to be real. It's the whole point of what we do here. But to gently pull us back to the pitch document, if Wally's tragedy is this stalled, rigid perfectionism, then his younger brother, Theodore the Beaver, is dealing with an entirely different, arguably darker, kind of depressing adulthood.
Oh, man. Beaver.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, let me find my notes on Theodore, because this is where the showrunner just completely twists the knife.
It's so dark.
Theodore Cleaver is in his mid-40s. He lives alone in a very sparse, sterile apartment after his own failed marriage. And he is absolutely plagued by chronic self-doubt and crippling social anxiety. He is the guy who carries the psychological burden of being the quote-unquote problem child who turned out fine, allegedly.
And this is where the thematic writing in this pitch document is just so incredibly layered. The choice of profession for Beaver is not an accident.
No, definitely not.
The writers didn't just throw a dart at a board of boring jobs. Theodore Cleaver is an insurance claims analyst. The document explicitly notes that this career is symbolically tied to themes of judgment and loss.
Right. Because if you really think about it, what is the insurance industry?
Exact.
It is quite literally the corporate commodification of disaster.
Yes. It's utterly fascinating. Think about the mechanics of Beaver's childhood. He was the child who was always getting into scrapes. He was always breaking windows, ruining clothes, making mistakes, and then terrifiedly waiting to be bailed out by his father, Ward.
Followed by a stern moralizing lecture in the den. That was the dynamic.
Now, he has grown up to be the man who calculates the exact financial value of broken things. He assesses liability. He determines mathematically who is at fault for the catastrophe.
Wow. He took his father's role but stripped it of all the warmth and morality and replaced it with cold, actuarial math.
Exactly. It is a brilliant subversion of his childhood. He is still obsessed with mistakes and consequences, but now he processes them through a spreadsheet.
And it's just so fucked up, honestly. Like, if
Yeah.
you really sit with that for a second, it is incredibly bleak.
Did you just say fucked up?
I did. I'm sorry. I know we usually try to keep it a bit more academic, but I'm just getting a little passionate. We've got our drinks here in the studio, the bourbon is hitting, and I'm just feeling very, very strongly about Beaver right now. Because it is messed up. Look at episode 6. We have to talk about episode 6.
The good boy problem?
Yes, the good boy problem. This episode details Theodore's realization that his entire life trajectory, his job, his failed marriage, his apartment, was entirely shaped by external expectations rather than internal choice.
It's a very heavy, very existential episode outline.
No, it's not just heavy. I'm going to say so right now, and I mean it. It is literally the most profound thing I've ever read in my entire life.
The most profound thing in your entire life. I mean, we read Foucault last month.
Foucault has nothing on episode 6 of Stillwater. I'm serious. Think about the phrase, external expectations rather than internal choice.
Yeah.
We're all just walking around doing jobs we hate, like insurance claims analysis or architecture or whatever, because someone when we were 8 years old told us we were a good boy or a problem child.
Well, I mean, sociological conditioning is real.
Theodore begins questioning whether his entire personality is just a reconstruction of stories told about him by other people. Have you ever actually thought about that? Are you even you, or are you just the stories people told about you?
I mean, that is a core sociological question. Identity formation is largely reciprocal. We see ourselves reflected in the reactions of the social groups.
It's mind-blowing. You're blowing my mind right now.
Am I?
Yes. Theodore's arc goes from passive acceptance of his miserable life to a full-blown identity crisis, to the total destabilization of his own memory narrative. He's sitting in his sterile apartment drinking cheap scotch, and he realizes he doesn't even know if his childhood memories are real or if he just remembers the television episodes of his own life.
It's incredibly meta.
It's like, remember earlier when I was trying to explain this, and I said it's like the Matrix but with sweaters and milkmen?
You did say that, yes.
I want to upgrade that metaphor because it's deeper. It's like trying to rebuild your childhood home, but you only have photographs of the exterior to work from. And halfway through building it, you realize the photographs never showed the foundation. You are just building a beautiful, smiling facade over a massive sinkhole. And eventually the house is going to collapse.
Oh, wow. That is actually a stunning metaphor.
Right.
Building a facade over a sinkhole, the lack of a psychological foundation. You are completely right. If we connect this to the bigger picture the showrunner is painting, it asks a profound question about the weaponization of nostalgia.
The weaponization?
Nostalgia isn't just a warm feeling, it's a selective editing process. If our memories are just curated highlight reels, what happens to our sanity when we lose the script?
The script is gone. The script was burned in the fire of adulthood. The sinkhole swallowed the script. Which, oh, wait, hold on. What the fuck did I just say? I completely lost my train of thought.
You were talking about the script being burned in the fire. And the sinkhole.
Right. The script. The script was written by,
The parents.
the parents.
The parents wrote the script.
Ward and June Cleaver. God, see, I had a point. That's the transition right there.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Ward and June, the moral authority figures of the 1950s.
Yeah?
Because, well, let's just say they are not doing great in Stillwater.
No, they're decidedly not. Let's look at Ward Cleaver, the patriarch. In the pitch document, Ward is now in his late 80s. His physical health is rapidly declining, but more tragically, he is suffering from mild cognitive decline.
It's so sad.
The document notes that he alternates unpredictably between sharp clarity and heartbreaking confusion.
It's devastating to read, because Ward used to be this towering, respected civic figure. He was the guy who always had the answer, the guy who dispensed perfect wisdom in the den before bedtime.
The anchor of the family.
But now, in the present day, he's mostly mythologized. He's a symbol of a bygone era. And because of the dementia, he occasionally confuses present-day events with these highly idealized memories of the past.
There's a specific, agonizing episode outlined here, episode 7, titled, Ward Cleaver is Not Well.
Ooh, that one is rough.
A local documentary crew, which is a recurring plot device in the season, is interviewing him about the history of the town. And right in the middle of the interview, Ward starts confusing the present-day municipal bankruptcy with imagined civic crises from 1958.
What?
He represents the total collapse of the moral authority father archetype. He can no longer dispense wisdom because he literally cannot anchor himself in reality.
And June. We have to talk about June. June is, wait, let me look at the timeline. June is dead, right?
Yes. The document clearly states that June passed away several years before the events of Season 1 begin.
Right. She's deceased. I knew that.
Right.
But the fascinating thing is she's still a massive, suffocating presence in the show.
Oh, absolutely.
She exists almost entirely through old audio recordings, degraded home videos, and the highly fragmented recollections of her family. Her image has been completely commodified by the local nostalgia media. And the crazy part, the really brilliant part, is that everyone in the family remembers her completely differently.
Exactly. Wally remembers her as warm but distant. Theodore remembers her as intensely controlling and anxious. Ward remembers her as a literal angel who never raised her voice.
She's not even a human being anymore. She's just a contested symbol of perfect motherhood. It's like they are all fighting over the copyright to her ghost.
Which is such a brilliant narrative choice because it highlights how utterly subjective memory is. The family cannot even agree on who the matriarch was. They were all in the same house, eating at the same table, and they experienced completely different mothers.
Yes. But you know what? You know what really gets me? All this stuff about memory and identity is great. It's deep. It really is. But you know what the real issue is in this entire pitch document? The thing that actually explains why everything is falling apart. It's not the memory stuff. It's Episode 8.
Episode 8. Let me look. Stillwater burns quietly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Stillwater burns quietly. Okay, listen to me. I need you to listen to me very carefully right now.
I'm listening.
In the outline for this episode, there is a passing mention of a quote-unquote minor town scandal involving zoning corruption. It escalates, and it implicates past civic decisions made during the Cleaver era. Do you see what this means? Do you understand what the showrunner is doing here?
That Ward was perhaps complicit in some unethical civic planning back in the day.
It means zoning laws are the real villain of the series. I am completely serious right now. I'm dead serious. You look at the town of Stillwater, Ohio. You look at the hollowed-out economy, the boarded-up storefronts, the municipal bankruptcy. Why is it hollowed out? It's the commercial real estate setbacks. It's the restrictive residential zoning codes.
I mean, I don't know if the 80-page pitch document goes quite that deep into the municipal tax base.
That's all right there between the lines. A minor town scandal involving zoning corruption. Ward Cleaver wasn't just sitting in his den giving fatherly advice. He was sitting on the city council manipulating municipal infrastructure.
Okay, wow.
He was granting variances to favored developers. The entire myth of 1950s moral purity begins to publicly collapse in Episode 8 because of zoning. It is always zoning.
Robert Moses in a cardigan.
I'm not joking. You try to build a multi-family dwelling, or God forbid, a duplex, in a single-family R1 zone in a town like Stillwater back in 1959, and suddenly the perfect moral family sends the zoning board after you.
This is incredible.
They weaponize the infrastructure to keep the town looking like a television set. It's a conspiracy of the highest level. Ward Cleaver is essentially Robert Moses in a cardigan.
Wait, you just said that.
I did say that, and it is hilarious.
It's the infrastructure. The infrastructure of the American suburb is inherently corrupt. It relies on a Ponzi scheme of constant expansion to fund the tax base. You are, oh my God, you are so beautiful when you get angry about municipal infrastructure.
I'm just saying, people ignore the zoning board. They focus on the sweaters and the pearls, but the real power is in the minimum lot sizes.
God, you have such a sexy brain. You really do.
What?
I am sitting here looking at you, and just the way you manage to connect the psychological collapse of American moral purity directly to R1 residential zoning codes. Sexy.
Uh,
Extremely sexy brain.
I mean, you just have to look at the lot sizes in the background of the original show. It's obvious.
Let us return to the rigorous analysis of the text, my esteemed colleague. We must maintain our academic integrity for the listener.
Stop it. You sound ridiculous.
I know. I can't do it. I can't do the serious voice right now. The bourbon has defeated the public radio voice. But we do have to talk about the next generation. If we are moving chronologically through the pitch, we have to talk about Lydia.
Right. Lydia. Okay, focusing. Lydia is Wally's adult daughter. She is the cynical, hypermedia literate, emotionally guarded millennial or Gen Z. I don't know. The document says she's 26. She is clearly designed as the audience surrogate.
She is the one actively investigating the family mythology because she is a documentarian or an audio producer. She uses podcasts and archival footage to try and find the truth.
Yeah, in episode 2.
Right. Episode 2, which is titled The Tape, she discovers unseen, unedited home footage in Ward's attic that completely contradicts the established family memory. In the raw footage, Ward is cold and distant. June looks exhausted and is secretly taking pills, and Wally is just staring blankly into the middle distance, completely paralyzed by anxiety.
The facade without the sinkhole. Or wait, the facade over the sinkhole.
Yeah.
And then the climax of her arc is in episode 9, titled We Were Never That Family. Lydia releases her deep dive audio series, exposing all these contradictions to the public. She basically detonates a nuclear bomb on the town's nostalgia industry.
The town reacts with total shock and vicious denial.
And man, honestly, just reading the summary of Lydia making this investigative audio project, it really triggered me.
Triggered you? How so?
Because doing these deep dives is so fucking exhausting. Like, we sit here in this studio day after day, week after week, and we just analyze and we dissect and we process.
It's true.
We take these heavy 80-page documents and we tear them apart for an audience, just like Lydia does to her own family's history. And it is so much pressure to constantly have a smart take.
It is a profound amount of pressure. It's a very heavy intellectual burden we carry for the public.
It is. Like, to the listener out there listening to us right now, I love you. I really, truly do. We both love you so much. You are our everything.
We really do.
But God, sometimes I just want to stop analyzing the world.
Yeah.
I just want to sit on a couch in sweatpants and not have to have a brilliant, nuanced take on the cultural implications of a 1950s sitcom reboot.
Yes.
I want to look at a bird out the window and just say, that's a bird,
Oh.
instead of analyzing how the bird represents late-stage capitalism. It's draining my soul.
You are so brave for sharing that.
Sorry, I'm so sorry, listener. I didn't mean that. I love doing this show. I love being here with you. But it's just, Lydia gets it. Lydia knows the absolute agony of content creation.
It is an industry that feeds on our intellectual vitality. We give them our lifeblood, our late nights, our insights.
Exactly.
But you know who doesn't care about our lifeblood? You know who thrives in the vacuum of our exhaustion? Eddie Haskell Jr.
Oh, God. Eddie Jr., fuck that guy. Seriously.
Eddie Jr. is the son of the original Eddie Haskell, and the showrunner has updated the archetype flawlessly. He is a high-priced corporate management consultant with a charismatic but deeply, deeply predatory personality.
He's the absolute worst.
Episode 4 is literally called Eddie Haskell Always Wins. He enters Wally's professional life consulting for the municipal government and subtly, cheerfully destabilizes Wally's entire department through charm and ruthless manipulation.
He's exactly the kind of guy who thrives in modern corporate America. He fires half your staff with a smile and tells you it's an efficiency pivot.
But listen to me, listen to this, because this is the absolute crux of the entire socio-political argument of Stillwater.
Go.
If we examine Eddie Haskell Jr. through the lens of late-stage sociological paradigms, what he actually represents is inherited performative charm that has been weaponized into professional manipulation.
Whoa. Wait. Say that again?
Think about it. The original Eddie Haskell from the 1950s, his charm, was a localized juvenile subversion of the parental authority matrix.
Right, right.
He was sycophantic and polite to the parents. That's a lovely dress, Mrs. Cleaver. But he was manipulative and cruel to his peers the second the adults left the room.
Oh my God, yes.
But Eddie Jr. has taken that localized subversion and he has scaled it. He has integrated the performative sycophancy of the 1950s neighbor archetype directly into the neoliberal corporate consultancy framework.
Oh my God.
He is the commodification of the false smile. He doesn't just bully kids, he dismantles pensions. He is the ultimate, terrifying apex predator of the modern service economy.
That is, oh my God, you
Yeah.
just solved it. You literally just figured out the entire universe, inherited performative, what is the phrase? Sycophancy?
Sycophancy, yes. The weaponized commodification of the false smile.
That is the smartest thing anyone has ever said. Ever. In the history of audio broadcasting. You're a genius. I am sitting across from a generational genius.
I really think I might be right now. I feel very, very clear. The bourbon has parted the clouds. My mind is shining.
It's so clear. It's literally shiny. I can see it.
I just feel like everything makes sense now.
Let's just talk about the kitchen, man. I can't take this anymore. The genius is too heavy. Let's talk about episode 5.
The kitchen.
Yeah.
Episode 5, June's kitchen.
This part of the pitch document just absolutely destroys me. So in episode 5, the documentary crew that is following the family decides to pull a psychological stunt.
Such a cruel stunt.
They build an exact one-to-one reconstructed set piece of the original 1950s Cleaver kitchen inside an empty warehouse. And they put Wally, Theodore, and Ward inside it for a group interview. And it just completely devolves into a massive emotional breakdown and a war over conflicting memories.
It's the visual representation of the collapse of truth. They put these broken men inside the fake room, and the fake room breaks them completely.
It breaks them because, I mean, think about your own childhood kitchen. You know,
Oh.
like the linoleum. We had this awful peeling yellow linoleum. And if you put me in a fake room with that exact yellow linoleum right now, I think I would just drop to the floor and start crying. I miss my mom's kitchen so much. It wasn't even a nice kitchen.
Yeah.
The stove was broken on one side. It always smelled faintly of burnt toast. But it was real. It had a foundation.
Yeah.
And the Cleavers, their original kitchen wasn't real. It was a soundstage in Hollywood. And now 50 years later, they're back on a soundstage pretending the first soundstage was real. It's an echo chamber of grief. Just so profoundly sad.
It is so incredibly sad. I remember our kitchen had these little faded floral curtains above the sink.
Yeah.
And I would sit there at the sticky table and drink apple juice out of a plastic cup. And oh, God, I'm getting emotional. Why am I getting genuinely emotional about the floral curtains right now?
Because it's gone.
Yeah.
The past is unrecoverable. The nostalgia is a distortion. We're sitting here mourning things that probably weren't even as good as we remember. We just want to feel safe again.
Yeah.
Which perfectly leads to the finale outline. Episode 10, Clean Hands.
Clean hands. The family gathers for one final, highly tense filmed interview, and there is absolutely no consensus. They cannot agree on the narrative of their own past.
Right.
The documentary crew finally realizes there is no single objective truth to be uncovered. There are only competing emotional survivals of the myth.
Competing emotional survivals. That's a gorgeous phrase.
Yeah.
And then the showrunner describes the final image of season 1, Ward. Ward is alone in a dark hallway of his house. And he's watching old digitized footage of his family smiling at a dinner table that no longer exists.
Oh, man.
I might actually cry, honestly. Just a confused old man with dementia watching a literal television show of a fake family dinner, desperately thinking it's his real life. It's too much.
And that devastating image sets up the long-term trajectory, right? The document outlines seasons 2 and 3 very briefly. Wally has a total psychological breakdown and attempts a messy, partial reinvention.
Yeah.
Theodore goes into deep identity fragmentation, completely losing his grip on reality. Lydia becomes this highly controversial, anti-nostalgia cultural figure.
And Ward eventually passes away, and his death becomes a contested, grotesque media event. The whole town of Stillwater just fully becomes a tragic case study in manufactured Americana. Okay, let's unpack this. What does it mean? What does it all actually mean for us?
Well,
for society, for the listener? I can't. I'm sorry. I tried to do the professional producer voice, the let's unpack this thing, but I'm just too overwhelmed. It's too much. I'm emotionally exhausted.
It's okay. You don't have to unpack it. You've worked hard enough today. I'll unpack it. Listen to me. Here is the final thought, the big chilling takeaway from all of this.
Okay, hit me.
Nostalgia is just, it's a cultural distortion, right? It's a lie we tell ourselves, a beautiful little package we wrap our trauma in so we don't have to look at the zoning corruption,
Oh my God.
the setbacks, the commercial real estate. It's all a smokescreen to hide the residential zoning laws. Robert Moses in a cardigan.
You remembered. You remember the zoning.
I will literally never forget the zoning. Oh, God. Okay. Okay, we actually need to wrap this up. We are losing altitude fast. To you, the listener, you sitting there in your car or your kitchen listening to us right now,
We love you.
we love you. Go out there into the world. Question your own family myths. Look at your kitchen linoleum and ask yourself, when they reboot your life in 50 years, what part of your trauma are they going to package as the good old days?
Ask yourself if your foundation is real.
But seriously, be careful out there. The world is full of Eddie Haskell Jr.'s wearing Patagonia vests.
Be so careful. Protect your foundation. And check your local zoning ordinances. I am dead serious about that. Go to City Hall.
You are so wonderful.
You're wonderful, too. Come here. Let's get out of here. Let's go get some food.
Are we off the record now?
We are definitely, finally, off the record.